And here we go. And that should maybe do it. Yes, you're live.
Yes, we might be live. This is
We
exciting.
might be live. It looks actually like we are being live. This is how the
Okay,
big boys do it.
So, we're live, guys. Hello and welcome to PixFix episode 5.
Episode 5 or 2, however you want to count.
Yeah, you get choices. Episode. It's like it's Star Wars all over again. No one really knows.
Well, yeah, or Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah. Final Fantasy X2 GTL. It's just we don't really know. Okay, sorry. Yes. So, welcome back to PixFix. Nonetheless, regardless of which episode it is, today we're going to be doing more unsolicited critique on our pixel art, as well as showing our edits that we've done from last week for a few of the pieces that were quite inspiring to us.
That was a great introduction. Good job.
Yeah. 10 out of 10. To introduce myself again, for those who join in for the first time, I am Ambiverous, and this is my co-host and the guy who does all the work, Weasel.
Hello.
I've been doing pixel art for far too long. I think we said 7 years has been decided on the amount of time, and most of that has been critiquing and editing pixel art on Pixelation, and very little of making my own art comparatively. But I don't need to make art to something. Yeah. And Weasel, please go introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, like I mentioned last time as well, I do Pixar for like maybe 5 years, I want to say, but it's probably more like 2 or 3 years actively. Like a lot of pauses in between. But yeah, lots of editing, lots of critiquing as well, lots of receiving critique, and yeah. Now I'm just trying to give it all back.
Yes, give it all back, whether they want it or not.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yes. Okay, cool. So, shall we start with one of my edits? Because I think that's the chronological order that happened last week.
I think that's a good idea. Since you did 2 edits, we can just flip-flop back and forth. Oops, that's not how it was supposed to happen. There we go. Slight technical problems just to start things with, but this is...
it wouldn't be exciting without technical. We're streaming on YouTube this time instead of Twitch, for those of you who find themselves on YouTube and not Twitch. And so we're having a couple of extra issues that we didn't have last time. Cool. Can the viewers see my screen yet?
They should be able to.
Excellent. I'm going to start talking about it, and then if anyone has no idea what's happening, you'll know. Okay, so let me show. I should actually show the previous piece. Boom. This is the piece that I picked up last week. It's one of the pieces we had a look at. It is very inspiring. It looks really cool. Just disclaimer: I've only watched people play Halo, and watched basically the entirety of Red versus Blue. This is my knowledge of Halo weapons, but it's enough to recognize most of these weapons. Nonetheless, it was pretty hard, especially at one-time zoom, to tell what was going on here. It's not very crisp. But yeah, if you know the weapons, you knew what was going on. So, if I remember correctly, the biggest issues we had here were readability, and it has too many colors, too much detail, tried to squish it into like small places. Pillow shading. What else?
Some bending here and there.
Oh yeah, some banding here and there.
Anti-aliasing.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know if he is intentionally anti-aliased, but it definitely looks, at one-time zoom, it looks very blurry, so you can tell that it has the same effect as though he did anti-alias it. So yes, let me show you my edit quickly. Switch over there. Main thing here is simplification and defining forms differently using light source. To go on, just another disclaimer quickly. I showed this edit to a friend, and he pointed out that the energy sword saber thing shouldn't be symmetrical. and it's supposed to be like pulsating energy. So that one, a little iffy, but it's fine. I've made it look flatter, and that was at least one of the goals. So let's start with... Okay, so one of the things that I mentioned last week was this little gun here, the purple one with the crystals. You can just clump your crystals together, and they will still look like crystals. You don't specifically need to make them individual like this. Also with a lot of the lights, they're single pixels. There are no clusters here. It's just single pixels hovering around, and that actually just detracts from readability. So I've gone ahead, put a lot of pixels together. You'll see it's a very, if you look at the next to, like look at them next to each other, I hardly moved colors. Like I moved a couple of pink pixels, and I kept the outline almost exactly the same. But just put things more clustered. I did more of a cluster approach to this, and I believe that it's made it clear already, and just clumped together all those crystals in one. And it looks pretty fine, especially at 1x zoom. You can tell, oh yeah, there are crystals coming out of this gun. That's about what's happening. Well, something with light.
Mm-hmm.
Then with our little gun here, this is probably the one that I changed the colors the most. You will see I've found a reference on the internet for this, and then I just went with those colors. It's not like I specifically chose to get rid of his blacks and browns. One of the biggest problems with this piece was the lack of contrast in the gun itself. It's all dark here. Like 1x zoom, you're like, yeah, there's a dark thing, there's two lights, and then there's some spiky thing over here and over there. So I went ahead and just made this, but just put highlights in the right place, used more contrast in those bits to show what's where and what's happening. And I believe that I've made it significantly more readable, unless someone points out not. Funny enough, a lot of things have stayed in the same place. Just because I completely redid this with the I just kept the outline with my reference, so it's surprising how many things actually did stay. I also put a little bit of a blood.
Just pushing the values around quite a bit.
Yeah, it's mostly just pushing the value around here, and honestly, not that many. Like I didn't remove any details. There's a lot of the same level of detail here. It's just changed the like where values of the contrast. Then this little gun has quite a big difference. This is probably the biggest difference in terms of complexity. Like this gun has all kinds of stuff going on in here, and I can't really tell what is going on. If you didn't know what this gun looked like, you'd be like, that's a ball? It's a man-eating glowy monster thing, maybe? Which I attribute to the pillow shading. It looks like it's getting lighter and lighter until you get to the center here. So the whole thing kind of looks like a ball. The actual gun is a lot flatter. It's more like a disc, actually, like this way, and it's flat as we see at this side. So I've taken away a lot of that roundness, put more of the light at the top to show that it's like the top is light, and the sides are all hidden from the light. I also just fixed up the highlighting here. So the highlighting's different depending on which gun and which reference you use. It's like there's different versions and stuff over time, but I just simplified it to one that it's only on the essential magazine looking thing. And just that already, because these lights don't really mean anything to me. I'm kind of like,
I'm also not sure what if it's a 3 on it, like in glowing.
Yeah, exactly right. It could be anything, but now it's like that's what the gun looks like. It's that simple. There's a little bit of energy. It goes up the magazine. Everyone's happy. So that's probably the one where I got rid of the most detail. These ones probably my favorite, because this is just. These are pillow shaded, and there's a bunch of little random details in here that aren't necessary. This one just screams for a bunch of simplification. Both of these do. And it's even harder to tell what's going on the blue gun than it is to the red one because of just less contrast between the two colors. I'm just going to switch over. Hazel said it's called a needler, which is this one, I believe. This purple one, the
one with the crystal needles on top of it.
I forgot that last time we were very bad at reading out. Yes. Oh no, the needler is the top one, actually. It's a cute little plasma pistol. There we go. Luckily we got some Halo fans chilling here. And yes, we must pay attention to the chat more. Okay, so these ones decided the pillow shading is the biggest issue here. And also, again, with their like single pixels, lack of real defining form going on here. So here is my edit. There are actually quite a few. These things are are quite modular, or not modular. They're built up. They look like they've got compound, whatever the word is. They've got like different parts of the gun that each have their own highlighting. Here it just looks like one round object.
Yeah.
There are actually quite a few little bulges and like crevices and stuff in these guns. So I've gone ahead and shaded using just larger clusters and always just having top-down shading, easy enough. Anything that is facing the light gets shaded. And I think I did front right. Yeah, I've done front right lighting as well. So as you go towards the left, things darken out. And just put all of these light blue lighting pixels together. Just simplification. And again, try not to have single pixels floating around. They don't generally help unless you're trying to add one specific kind of texture. So yeah, that was quite a simplification process between these two. And I think, yeah, even at this zoom, you can tell it's a world of difference in readability of this gun. And then these two guns, yeah, I'll just be like, go over them quickly. I was kind of tired, so forgive me. I changed the outlines because they were the main thing that was stopping the guns from being readable as far as I could tell. Pistol is the tickle. Okay, the needler is the pink, and the pistol is the lickle one? Oh, I guess that's little. Okay, thank you, Hazel, correcting me once more. Yeah, so this bigger gun was lacking in just mainly shape. Both of these, it was mainly the outline shape that was making them less readable. So I just sort of changed that. Kept a lot of stuff where it is. Oh, I didn't keep anything where it is, really.
Make up your mind, man.
Yeah, I was like, wow, clicking between them and my brain said the wrong thing. Finally, I'll just go over the axe. So I skipped over those because I kind of put effort into them. The big axe, one of the biggest problems here was this bit kind of looked rounded, and I wasn't really sure what was going on here. And even this sharp side, it looked a bit blunt. Like this didn't really look like a scary thing.
Yeah,
also,
it looks
this
more like
stabby
a skull kind of thing attached to the top, the front.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, and this little thing, I was like, what is this even? What are you gonna do with that? Turns out there's a gap between that and the handle where you can put your hands, and the bottom is more like this half, whatever, cut-off shape. So yeah, I fixed that up. Made the blade seem flatter, not by much. I just changed a couple of pixels, kept the end of the blade a different color. This is a smidgen of maybe banding, but it's not real. I tell you now. And yeah, just again simplified a lot of the shapes. It's very hard to read this weapon, especially at one-time zoom, because there is so much going on top here, and you want to describe it all, but you can't. So I've done a few things where I didn't need to. You can see some like checkerboarding and stuff that maybe I didn't have to do, but I was trying to squeeze in a lot of details. I then also made this side a lot flatter. It's more of a box shape. The actual thing is more of a box shape, slightly angled, tilted. And I think I've got more of a box shape going in here. When here, you've got two different shades on the same thing that should be exposed to the same amount of light. It just looks like this bit here is sticking out the most, and it's round. Again, because of kind of pillow shading, but just on the end.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now it's like basically a flat shading on this surface because it's one surface, and I made the light lines a little bit more, a little bit more uniform so that you can read that. And those are the changes. Any comments from you, Weasel?
Well, it definitely looks a bunch more readable. I don't know. Right now, I don't have any critiques on top of your critiques.
On my critiques, no critiques. That's what I like to hear.
Stacking is happening here.
We haven't stacked critiques. Yes, and that is the piece. Let me just say that again, this piece is really cool. It was just lacking in some of the pixel techniques that people have come up with specifically for making things more readable, and that's what I applied to it. The techniques that people have come up with over the years for making things more readable, especially at one-time zoom, which was my main aim. And yeah, I hope that you can see the results thereof in this, just by how clear things look on the edit. But well done to the guy who made it first. It's really cool. Hashasha, whatever his name is. It was a really cool piece. I enjoyed working on this a lot. Cool.
Yeah, excellent.
That's me. All right, Weasel, up to you. Your turn to talk. I feel like I've been talking for ages.
Oh yeah, that a little bit. That's right.
Okay.
Also, we probably upload those to a Imager album.
Yes.
So...
While you do, I will upload this to low spec and post it in the chat so that people can see. It'll just be a little GIF with 2 seconds where it switches between.
That's a good idea as
the
well.
Original. Yeah, it is.
I would just upload it to Imager and then put it in the video description below, so people that don't read the...
Oh, yeah. I'll put it in the chat as well.
Right?
And the video description.
Well, we figure this shit out.
Yes, we'll figure this out. It'll happen. It's real.
Okay, in the meantime, oh god. Oh yeah, it's working. Great.
I'm gonna need you to share your sprite with me. Sprite with me. Do this, by the way.
Yeah, give me a second. How we do this?
How do we do? More technical difficulties. Don't talk to me about my problems.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit difficult if you share different things at the same time on different monitors. It's just gonna be a bit of a mess. But that should work, I think.
Let me just check. Yes, I can see it. Confirmed.
Okay, great. So this was a piece by DeWeed. I assume it's not David, but just DeWeed. I like this piece quite a bit because the guy looks freaking happy. And it's just, I don't know. It just looks like a really nice piece, but there are so many things that rubbed me in the wrong way, and most of it was just noise. There's so much noise going on. It's the texturing on the wings, it's the highlights on the wings, the skin, the armor, the cloak, the hair, the face. It's like there's no defined form anywhere, unfortunately, other than the outline and the rough shapes, but even those kind of blur together, just due to being overall too noisy, pretty much everywhere. So what I did is just a massive simplification on top of this. I slightly changed the proportions of the guy because he looked a bit cramped, like he had no hips at all, and the belt just went straight into his chest. So I gave him a bit of a belly as well, and a bit of a hip and crotch area, which just pushed him up a little bit as well. Because in here, his arms are also very long. If you imagine him like having his arms hanging, they would reach down to his knees. I mean, that could be cool aesthetic, but I don't think this is what DeWeed was going for. So yeah, this overall I think has a bit more consistency in proportions. His legs are still very stumpy, but I think it kind of works with the overall aesthetic. The other big thing I changed were the wings, and there's a very specific reason for that. Even though I liked the shape of the wings, like DeWeed did this, I couldn't really make sense of how they would work, like how the single, let's call them fingers, would stretch and how I should render them out. So I'm not very familiar with drawing wings at all, so I had to kind of wing it.
Oh no! It's so painful.
I'm sorry, I had to. And I also thought it would be a nice idea to swing them upwards to kind of mirror his arm pose and kind of frame his shield a bit more, because that's what it seems like that he's celebrating getting this power up.
Celebrating.
Right? Because he's also sticking his thumbs out, which you can see in the original as well.
Oh yeah.
And we just assumed they were his thumbs in the end, and I think that's actually what's going on.
Don't bring me into this. I mean, I agree that it does kind of look like thumbs, but don't bring me into this.
Okay, it's certainly my assumption at this point. Okay, so let's maybe look at some of the details. Firstly, the skin. There's just random highlights coming from, I guess, the front and the left, and there's some shading somewhere in the back, I suppose, and then here on the top. And really not easy to figure out where the light source is coming from, especially if you consider the face as well, where it's coming from the front, also then from somewhere else. So what I did was just, well, basically clean it all up, use far less colors. I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4 colors for the skin in total, and just use it to block in rough shapes, like the upper arm, which is a bit in the shadow. This is a basic front light, right? I think this works kind of well because this sprite is, well, pretty much mirrored, other than the hair. So yeah, it's a front, maybe a bit of a top light if you consider his hands as well. So yeah, just trying to get the shapes in to define the simplest forms of his limbs. Like just the hand, there's a tiny highlight for the thumb, which is sticking out. There's a bit of a highlight on the what's this thing called? Elbow.
Elbow.
the point of the elbow. Just to have it stick out a little bit more, have it defined, so to speak. The armor, I did give the same treatment basically, just get rid of all the noise and all the highlights and just blocked in simple shapes to define like the back muscles or the armor that would armor the back muscles, I suppose, and the chest and belly area, as well as the crotch and boots. If you compare it, like there's, I mean, you can tell there are like there's the chest plate and there are pauldrons and boots, but you can't really tell the form of them, nor can you tell, well, you cannot tell a lot from it. This is what I want to say, I guess. Yeah, same treatment for the coat. Just I assumed it is a coat because I couldn't tell what else it could potentially be. So, yeah, just try to give it a bit of a hint, like like the edge. I gave it a little bit of highlight, just to hint that there's something, some fabric flowing down on his back. No big highlights or anything, just hinting at it. And oh yeah, the face. I told you in the last episode that I wasn't quite sure what this white stuff in his face was. Yeah. So I just got rid of it entirely, because I played around with it a little bit, like make it a bit of a skull kind of feature, like either a mask or like his face actually melting off. But the resolution is just much too low to give that kind of detail, in my opinion. I mean, you can make it work if you really want to, but it just reads better if you just like have the actual face. I got also rid of the red eyes. In my opinion, it's not really well readable. And I give him a bit of a, well, what kind of haircut is that? Like,
I don't know, but
50s
it looks
Greaser?
Cool. It's, yeah, definitely. It's like straight out of Grease.
Yeah, for the wings, like I said, I don't really know how to render wings all that well, so I just gave it a really simple treatment. 3 shades, hint a bit of brighter material where there's more stretch on the leather, right? Something like leather between the wings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, same treatment on the shield. Get rid of a lot of the, in my opinion, unnecessary detail that just distracts from the actual shapes going on. Oh, I just realized I also did change a bunch of the colors, especially in the armor, and the skin as well, to just push it in a more readable spectrum, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this.
Yeah, well, the main points for this one were simplification, because there was a lot of noise on the original, I believe. Yeah. So I believe that you've simplified it significantly. You're gonna have to practice rendering wings now. I think that's basically the only thing that I heard there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There we go. You've got homework. Excellent. This is what I like.
I'll just look at Elkstring again.
Yeah. So I just want to also point out that Dweed or David actually did get hold of us outside of the stream, having watched the first video. And
yeah, he contacted us on Twitter.
Yeah, contacted us on Twitter, and he asked specifically for advice on what we thought was wrong with it, which was really cool. And hopefully that description was good enough.
Yeah, it was a bit rambly probably, but
yeah. If you're watching this and you still want more help, don't be shy to message us. We'll happily type out any of the things that we thought could have been helped easily.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that was really cool of him. It was nice to do, and good to know that we are actually helping someone already.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm going to critique your critique now, because this is how we do it. So just I like the fact that you switch between them occasionally. I like the fact that you changed the wings to that more like rising shape, because that is quite a could you go to the new one? I'm struggling. Yeah. And I like the fact that you framed the shield. That is really cool. I think you're quite right there. I do think that you're lacking a little bit of contrast in the back of the wings, because I think that maybe it would be darker there, like you did at the back of the cape, because I think that was a nice amount.
That's a good point.
But
what is this? Actual critique? No, I can't handle this.
No!
I'm out of here.
Oh, sorry. Actually, also a bunch of people said things while you were talking. Let me just mention those quickly. So it was mostly ramble, but Odin said he liked the new format, which is cool. I think this makes a lot more sense. It was also people gave us advice on how to make things better, and this was one of them. I think, or maybe we decided. I think someone told us. Anyway, doing the edits up front is really cool. He likes that. Then are the videos going to get recorded? We will upload them to YouTube, even if they're not auto-recorded, but I'm sure they will be, because YouTube is smart like that. Then Elma's worrying about her crushes and privacy, which, luckily no one cares about. And then and then does PixFix accept anonymous messages? Which I don't think anonymous. That sounds a bit harsh, and like we can't trust people. All right, sorry. Back to the critique. The hair I really like, because you've used that one little curl that you followed there with the pixels is so brilliant. Like I love that. It's just so perfect. Like I can tell exactly what's going on in this hair, and it's that bright green line that I'm following that gives it to me. So that's really cool. I also do like that you've changed his pose to raise him up more. He does look stronger, and I like that his arms are more relative to the size of him, even though his legs became smaller. Thank you, Hazel. You're the best. Actually, Elm, we love you, and you know that. Yes, I see that you left the upside down droplet things on the floor.
Oh yeah, I didn't touch them.
Yeah, I like the fact that you simplified the shield. This is good. This is definitely shows how to simplify things, and just a bit of changing of the composition to make things more dramatic as well, just thrown in there for fun. Yeah, nice. Hopefully Dweed likes this.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your insight. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Does anyone else have anything to say about the 2 edits we've done so long? Weasel, would you like to upload that onto low spec so long and post it into the chat so that?
Sure. I'll switch back to your.
Oh! He's actually watching. It's exciting.
Damn it! Hey, Dweed, what's going on?
Awesome. Cool. That's awesome. Good to see you here.
He says, thank you for your feedback, can't talk, but I will get back to you after I saw and understand all what you say here. Okay, that's fair. Take your time, and if you have any questions, let us know, and we'll try to clarify it. As best as we can.
As best as we can. Yeah, we're not very good with words. Yes, and again, it should be mentioned that your edit, your original piece was cool enough that we decided to edit it. Also, because one of the things that was mentioned, you used some anti-aliasing and some dithering. I remember saying last week that if you continue to do dithering and or if you feel like continuing to do dithering and getting good at anti-aliasing, you are welcome to keep trying to do it. Don't think that because we've removed it, we think it's bad and you should never do it. If you do it enough and you get good at it, it will look cool. So it's a style choice. It is just tricky to get dithering and anti-aliasing looking good. So it takes a lot of work. And in the interim, things will look less readable. But don't give up if you feel like that look works for you. That is an aesthetic choice. Cool. Have you uploaded the image?
I'm actually waiting to switch back to yours so I can.
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. Sorry. Okay. Switch over to me, and I will talk about the next piece that I've done. Elm just saying that she missed. Elm just saying that she missed the
first
Halo
edit.
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first edit. I'll just post at least the link to on NoSpec to you again, so that at least you can see that. And have a look at it. Okay, cool. Am I being shown? Is my screen on?
Yes, your screen is on.
Okay, cool. So this is another piece that we saw last week. It's beautiful as well, don't you guys think? Very pretty. I like these colors. I can see you saving things for. Oh no, that's not okay. Yeah. So one of the biggest problems that we had with this piece, and was there are way too many, or not way too many colors, but there are a lot of colors here, and they weren't necessary for conveying the shapes and things that you wanted to, because a lot of these colors are very similar. You can tell just by looking at it, and there's a lot of anti-aliasing sort of going on around in the skull here and in the hair, and you can tell the very close colors. Anti-aliasing, it just looks kind of blurry actually. And then the gems are there's not a single light source that's sort of like being lit from each side, and they're sort of just blocks. You can do more with gems. Gems are really hard, so it is gems are hard to do right, especially at low resolutions. But I went ahead and tried anyway. Yeah, so this is my edit. First thing I must say, the bright pink octopus, I changed by accident while I was busy editing it. And then by the time I noticed it, I actually preferred the look of the red with the green and the new halo, so I left it red. But the pink also works, so don't feel like that was a choice. The main thing here that I did was try to remove as many colors as possible without losing the form, or with even gaining more form, more clarity. So you'll see in the face especially, it's a lot clearer, but obviously the pixels are a lot larger. So if this is intended to be viewed at this large resolution, it looks less soft, but at the same time, it looks sharper. You could maybe add one more shade if you wanted to really get some more forms going on here. But especially at anti-aliasing is when you intentionally put add shades of color. But so if you had two colors, let's say like 2 pixels apart, and it was like a black and a white. Actually, those are the most.
I mean, you can show it in the hanging stuff on this right really nicely, right? There's a lot of anti-aliasing.
Oh yeah. Okay. I mean, well, even the skull, especially though, because you'll see there's very light colors here underneath the eyes, and there's a whole bunch of like light, nearly white colors, and then they go into like these slightly darker colors. It's basically trying to like a slow gradient. Hey Crow, welcome. A slow gradient from your lights to your darks. The problem with doing this with pixels is that you end up, pixel art, you do it by hand instead of just like a smudge tool. but basically what the smudge tool would do. But the problem is it makes your pixel art look blurrier.
Yeah, you can make smoother or more curvy lines, but you lose clarity with it.
Yeah, you lose clarity.
So
it's interesting because oh, sorry.
No,
yeah.
Go ahead.
It's interesting because there's this giant circle over here that he didn't do it on, and yet on the skull he put in a lot of extra pixels.
The circle would actually benefit quite a bit from it to get a little bit more blurry as well, to be pushed a little bit into the background. Look a bit more magical that way, probably, or a bit more glowy.
Yes, so that was quite odd that he chosen this way. However, still looks, yeah, I mean, you know, and then and around this this little squid in his forehead also, there's a lot of extra colors here that didn't need to be. I just removed them. Honestly, you just need the little squid guy. This, particularly when you look at lower resolutions here, you'll see between my edit and this one, things are more readable. Pretty much the thing that I go for every time you'll get this is that I go for more readability. And I'll often drop off colors because I don't think that people need as many colors as they do. The halo was one of the first pieces or one of the most noticeable parts where I noticed there are, I think, like 8 colors in the halo in the original, and then I dropped it to 3. I also changed a lot of it. It looks quite different, but yeah,
the overall shape or outline is the same, right?
Yeah, the outline is the same, but yeah, to get the shape of a halo, you don't need that many colors. It's like defined a pretty good shape there, and we're fine. Yes, Hazel, you are defining a gradient. It's not helpful because it almost always makes pixel art look blurrier. Like, there, as we mentioned just a little bit earlier, there are people who can use anti-aliasing and dithering to good effect, and like a lot of the supposed don'ts of pixel art, there are people who can use them, and it does look good. But yeah,
it's also not really just the people using them, but more where you use them in the piece.
Yeah, where you use them in a piece or for what purpose you're doing it. You just need to know what it does, and then when you use it, are aware of that fact.
Yeah.
And it's very rare that you'll get a lot of very good pixel artists. Like a lot of pros don't ever dither or use anti-aliasing. It's not a required skill, but it does give an extra aesthetic, one extra tool in your bank to do what you want with it. Yes. So that mostly removed colors. As I said, not necessarily a thing, but for pixel art technique, you generally want to try and remove a lot of colors. There are a lot of colors in the eyes and the top of the squid that I just removed. I think the eyes are now only 2 colors. The squid, I think, is only 4. Then I've gone with, I've gone through the effort of, I'm getting a message. Oh, yes. Ah, okay, cool. Weasel, are you able to share that picture quickly?
Which one? What?
Crow sent us a picture of just the simple dithering.
Oh yeah, give me a second. I have to switch windows around in order to.
Okay. Well, I will continue. I will continue to talk about this. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Okay, the gems. I've done before. I'm not a newbie to gems, so yeah. I tried to make the gems a lot more readable. It is actually really hard at this. What am I doing with my life? It is really hard at this resolution, but yeah, it's more about getting some nice deeper tones in the middle bottom of a gem, and then just get the lights at the top. And but yeah, like the reflecting light around the edges, and then extra saturation where the light is bouncing back from inside the gem. So wherever the light would bounce from inside the gem will get a lot of saturation, and where light is just touching it, you'll have desaturated light colors that are just bouncing off the faces of the gem itself. And then yeah, cleaned up a lot of the this scarf thing. There's just tubes. I don't know. I cleaned up a lot of colors and noise here. There's a lot of different stuff going on here that isn't necessary, especially like lower zooms. This is more defining with less going on. A lot more colors again removed. This neck piece also, I removed a lot of colors. Tried to simplify the shapes. At one times, a lot of these differences are actually very hard to tell have happened. You can tell that it's clearer, but you can't tell just how many colors I've removed. And then for the string at the bottom, I actually just removed all and just went with 2 colors. It is the dark is everything. I left everything that's hanging in the background, or his eyes saw was hanging in the background, without shading. And then the ones that I thought were forward, I put a little bit of light on, just to show where light is touching those pieces of string or rope or wherever they are. Guts, who knows? Yes, and those were the changes that I made to this piece. Yes, that's it.
Yeah, cool.
Any questions, answers, go. Critique on my critique.
Okay, let's see. At first, I didn't like what you did to the color of the squid, but now in hindsight, that you're switching back and forth, it actually works a little better. The pink is kind of burning with the rest of the piece. The red is... It feels like it's more embedded into the piece. The halo actually looking pretty damn fine, considering there's like, what, 5 colors removed from it?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, 5 colors. This just goes to show that that it's more important to define the forms with... Well, you don't need a lot of colors to define the forms if you know how the forms and lighting works on a fundamental level. What I really like about your edit with the halo is the little light spot in the back, and that helps so much just to make it appear like it's a fucking ring floating over his head, right?
Yeah,
that's great.
I'm just actually gonna post this on the low spec link in the chat so people can look at it at different zooms. But carry on.
I do like what you did to the gems as well. Like you said, gems are quite difficult to get right with the subsurface lighting, if they are clear, and like bounce like reflections and all that stuff. Obviously in this kind of resolution, this is really difficult to get right. But I think, well, maybe you could have used some brighter highlights on it. But other than that, I think they look kind of fine. They look a bit more like opaque stones and not so much like gems. But yeah, that's not a problem, I don't think.
But it's hard.
Let's see.
Oh no, what have I done?
Oh no, you crashed everything.
I may have at once. Oh, okay. I've broken something.
What you doing?
I was gonna... I don't know. That's... So, I've destroyed everything. The zoom is fine. You can look at the zoom.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. Yeah, the simplification on the stringy things I think works great. Can you switch back real quick and show it in a little bit more zoom?
I can't zoom in more because I broke something.
Okay, never mind. It's good enough then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely... I mean, like I said, it's just 2 colors, right? And it just helps so much, like pushing it back and pulling it to the front, like the 2 colors.
So the thing again. I don't know. I've broken something. I've messed up Asebright, and I would like to close and reopen it, but things could go badly.
You can go for that. I think I set my piece.
Okay, right.
Was a good edit.
Thank you. Oh wow, all of my things are okay. I'm gonna have to close.
Yeah, I'll just switch to... Oh yeah, here's the image that Enya posted before about Anti-aliasing, that's right. That's a bit of how lines work in pixels and how you can smoothen them, I suppose. I haven't looked at this picture before, so I'm just
winging
it. Winging it again.
Oh, the puns. The puns.
But yeah, I'll post that as well to the description later, and then you can take a look at it in your own leisure time. And we can maybe jump into the subreddit.
Can I just actually want to quickly another thing to mention. So what the text that is written at the bottom, it has been discovered. It is Codeine. Codeine's name, because he's actually in the chat as well. How convenient. So
hey,
that's
Codeine.
Really cool. Glad to see more people that are actually hopefully getting some use out of this. What we're doing. Very glad to see you. Your piece of art also is really cool, man. Well done.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of interesting that the two people we did edits for, or two of them, actually joined the chat as well. Yeah. That's fun.
No, we just have we need to find this guy who did these Halo weapons there and then get him online as well.
Just make it complete.
Yeah, just complete the set, you know. All right. Okay, now we're moving on to the unsolicited critique of the pixel art subreddit. And we can see the chat again.
We can see the chat indeed.
Yeah, okay.
Excuse me?
Sorry, my brain is like switching itself off. Okay.
Okay, then look at this first.
Can you just share? Could you share your screen? What you're looking at, the pixel art that you're looking at on subreddit?
Oh yeah, you mean in Discord? Sure.
On Discord.
Yeah, I have to switch it in.
More technical difficulties.
I will.
We're getting used to these things.
Give me just a second.
I'm apologizing for us as a collective. We're switched over to YouTube and now we are doing different things.
Different
things. Codeine, are you not part of the? I think our pixel art has its own official Discord even. I wonder if you're not in that.
Well, in any case, there's a pixel art official Discord, definitely. Yes. I'm not sure if they're actually affiliated with our pixel art.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I think Odit has this. Okay, and we're taking Codeine. He's cool. We want Codeine in our server rather. We're stealing people now. That's what we're doing. We can help you out and give you critique any day if you come over. Just letting you know, not to buy you out or anything. But come over to Pixar. Pixarnomicon. Okay. First piece of pixel art.
Yeah, I cannot make this bigger at all because it just goes full screen and then everything. Yeah. Just gotta look at it like that. It's a nice piece, actually.
Yes,
quite pretty. Good colors. This.
Yes, my famous words. This good colors. One good pixel art. Use good colors. So this is I call him Noah because I used to mispronounce the first username I saw him with, which is like NAOQH or something. And then on some other place I was following him, he changed to Soap or something. But yeah, I definitely used to. This guy used to post a lot on, I think, Pixel Joint, maybe Pixelation in the old days. So I've seen a lot of his older work. He's now putting out a lot more work these days, and he's changed his style significantly.
I don't actually know the guy or his old work, so
yeah, okay,
I just have to believe you on this.
Yeah, believe me. But yeah, he does do some cool stuff. I'm offended with him for making this a video because it makes it hard for us to actually appreciate the pixel art. It could have been a GIF. This is definitely looped, so
yeah, it's crisp enough though. So
yeah, I'm going to call you Noah, and damn it, Noah, why do you do this to me? Don't make videos, please post GIFs. Yeah, you've mentioned good use of color.
Like nice separation of foreground and background as well.
Yeah, it's perfect. Well, not use perfect, but yes, it's very good. Oh my, my brain switched off. Oh, he likes using muted colors. He's not a large saturation kind of guy.
Well, the front layer is pretty well saturated. There's some really bright, nice, juicy yellows. The red on the hair is also really nice and shiny.
I would bet you if you took this into a sprite, you would realize very quickly how subdued even those colors that look very well. You can't because it's not a GIF.
I can screen cap it.
You'd be surprised just how desaturated they are. Actually, he really does. Like the thing is that because of the rest of the pieces so desaturated, those colors look very saturated, which I think is a key to some of his work.
Yeah, some of them. The yellow's still pretty nicely bright.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that yellow probably, but that hair is definitely not that bright. Yeah, so good stuff. Doesn't rely heavily on saturation, or uses saturation to bring about the foreground, the background, etc. Which is,
I mean, it also makes sense that you lose saturation the further in the distance you are,
exactly.
because of how was it called? Atmospheric diffusion or something?
Diffusion,
well, basically
like
fog in the background.
Yes.
Grabbing all the light from the sky and all that stuff, right?
Yes. Anyone who is better at words than us, please just post what do you call it? I think it's atmospheric diffusion. But yes, now let's get to critiquing this art, because that's what we're here for. The light rays coming out of the sun, you didn't even make them straight. Okay, you didn't even make them straight, Noah. You're just lazy now. Come down. We know that you're better than this.
Like this one streak just comes out better than of an odd angle.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever. Angles are stupid anyway. So a little bit of laziness there. And I think he's been a bit lazy on the shading of the boat in the background.
Yeah, you could say maybe. I'm not sure. I mean, it's really like far back, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, but it's I mean, yes. So
yeah,
I will take this opportunity to mention that if a piece of pixel art is so someone mentioned last week, we also had a scene, pixel art scene, where most of the focus was on it was more like a painted piece, and most of the focus was on the colors used and what the picture was trying to convey. And the
one
person
by
used
Pix 16 Pix. 16
yes, 16 pixels, that one, yes. And the piece was clearly more about using the aesthetic of pixels, the boxy look that you get from pixels to using that as the aesthetic. It's using the fact that you get that that boxy look, little squares, rather than limiting itself through limited color palette or trying to get proper pixel technique. So now going forward, taking that into account, going forward, when doing critique on pieces like this, where it's more of like a scene, it's more about the blocks, so it's sort of blocky art. This is slightly less in that category than that other piece that we looked at.
Yeah, this seems more like a discrete amount of colors.
Yeah, this is he's definitely applied pixel technique to this. Since he's an old pixel artist, it makes sense. But yeah, when we critique these sort of scenes, will be more forgiving and lenient towards things like color count and proper pixel technique, because the main focus is almost traditional art, but with a blocky look.
Yeah, it's just
boxy look.
Pushing a painting into a different medium, so to speak.
Yeah. So just to differentiate it, I'll just refer to these as maybe boxy art or
Yeah, and that's not to say that this is like a sort of lesser form of art or better one or whatever. It's just a different approach to pixel art. Because doing stuff like this is in most cases not practical if you consider that pixel art is mostly used for games. Although nowadays, I guess people are using pixel art for more aesthetic purposes as well, and like printing them and all that stuff, doing T-shirts. Well, probably not with animations, but generally. So yeah, there's still a lot of skill going on in a piece like this. Maybe even more so, but it's kind of difficult to go into detail when it comes to technique.
Okay, I think we've already spoken. We're also going to try and cut down the amount of time we spend in each piece. But this piece,
we say after spending 10 minutes on this piece.
yes. But just to go through all the things that we need to. It's a good piece, by the way. It's very
sure. We have to qualify how we talk about these things, right?
Yeah.
Also, okay. I'm getting sick of pressing replay all the time. So
let's okay, let's move on. Let's just scroll down.
Okay,
cool. So this is
1-bit
pixel
1-bit animation.
Yes, this is a 1-bit pixel animation, which is cool. That's and they've done really well to define what's going on here, because I can tell there is a tower on a hill. Mm-hmm. There's some probably rice fields with
some cornfields. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's some houses.
Some people running around.
Smoke coming out of it. And some guy who teleports to the tower and then runs back again. Which, so that's impressive. He's got two colors, and it's quite a small canvas.
Mm-hmm.
And still he's managed to pull this off. So this is really cool. I like it. This is very limited.
It's cute.
It's cute compared to our previous piece. Very limited.
I mean, there's not even a lot you can say about this because you can only do so much with 1-bit colors.
Yeah, it is. But he has done really well with them. Everything here is readable, and also he's actually done really well with the perspective. I think there's slight problems with the heel perspective, I would say, but I guess the heel could just be shaped differently to what I anticipate. But otherwise, everything, is following the same lines, which is. If you use this is an isometric projection, if you use that in, then it is easier to make sure that your perspectives are maintained. But you're right.
Also,
can't really say much.
Perspective on very low resolution pixel art, not easy to pull off. So kudos to getting it to work.
Yes, and a very cute little piece that he's managed to make out of it. Oh yeah, we're supposed to be reading comments.
Yeah, this is by since we keep not mentioning them. This by Cosmonaut, a piece called Tiny Village.
This by Cosmonaut. It has 553 votes currently, upvotes. People, I think that's like. I think that means people like it.
Yeah, I'm not actually. I don't use Reddit a lot, but I think download will detract from them as far as I'm aware. But
yeah. He seems to be a fan of that's 2-bit pixel art, so it's something he does. You can tell he does. He does actually. He's very good at perspective and stuff. So yeah, I would say this is very much this guy's forte, and he does do a little cool pixel art. So you guys can go check it out if you like 1-bit pixel art.
The next one by Goddamn I'm Cute, drawn to life, 3.8k likes.
Yes, I do. This one has not been marked with OC, so I don't know if he actually made this or if it's someone else. And it is a link to Imgur, but no actual details.
Yeah, maybe it's just better to host images, or he prefers hosting images there.
Yeah. Let's see if they've commented anywhere. And maybe they have said that it's their piece. It's not their piece. In any case, very cute piece. It's also saved as a video.
Excellent.
Is it actually a video? Let me just go directly to. No, it's a GIF. Okay, cool. It just plays as a video on Reddit. Yes. So I love the little map on the floor with the folded up edges. I think that's
didn't even realize that. Yeah.
Yeah, this is isometric pixel art as well, which makes it, yeah, since he's followed all the right rules, he's able to keep the perspective very good. It has good form. His lighting is excellent here. I can tell exactly what's going on. He's gone through the effort of animating a lot of the leaves going up and down individually and at different paces on a tree, which a lot of people
like the tree looks like there's segments animated and then there's single leaves also animated. It's a shit ton of work, but it goes a long way. Really looks nice.
Yeah, exactly. It's really shown through. Yeah, a lot of cute touches here and there. I love the sprite style. It's very readable. You can tell exactly what they're doing, who they are, what's going on. And I'm not sure about the color count, but kind of looks like there are a lot of colors reused, so I assume that they've kept kind of low. But I could be wrong because there are a lot of shades. Would be interesting to find out. Actually, I will just save it and open it, I guess, because I've got the technology.
The imager link is crisp, so you can try on that one.
Yeah, so I've opened that up. Yes. It looks like 64 colors?
64?
About 60. Yeah, give or take. 64 colors.
Cool.
So they've obviously limited their palette. So this falls into our category of things that we get to nitpick. Yes.
I also have to say I really like some of the color choices or REMs he used, like on the metal, on the what's it called? The thing where smoke's coming out from.
The chimney thing.
The chimney, yes, exactly. The metal pipe there. It's like going from white to orange to purple to orange again, then to teal, then to green. And that's just such a freaky ramp to use, but it works so freaking well. I adore that stuff.
Yes. Oh yeah, no, this is definitely, so this is generally what, this is the kind of situation where he has actually done some anti-aliasing. You can see it here and there. And he's probably dithered somewhere. Actually, I don't see any dithering. I think he probably doesn't dither.
Well, if you consider the cross-hatching attempts on the map, maybe. Kind of dither because it dithers out a little bit on the edges.
Yeah, sure, it does a bit, but you can at one times you can see that pattern, so maybe it's intentional. It doesn't look like there's any of the typical chessboard dithering. Yes, you're quite right. His hue shifting is amazing. It's just everything here. He's used greens and teals and all kinds of colors in places.
Yeah, it's freaking crazy. I mean,
I know.
Look at the roof in the shadow. It's like that's a freaking green, isn't it?
Yeah, this is good. I like this. This makes me happy.
Yeah, definitely.
This is the kind of pixel art that makes a happy Jeffrey. It's a very yellowy green, but yes, it's very desaturated, so he's used it. But yeah, excellent use of colors. This guy knows what he's doing. Yeah, it actually reminds me of Noah's style as well. This is a lot of the kind of style that he does. Except, I think he uses a lot more muted colors when he does it. But excellent, very cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot, and I can't really say anything critique-worthy about it, to be honest, because it just looks really fucking fine.
No, it really does, and he's used excellent. My brain's gone. That thing where you clusters. Used excellent clusters and everything, and he's got a lot of single pixels here, interestingly, but it just if you know what they do, then it's possible to use them to good effect.
Yeah, you can make them work, but you have to use some.
So he's done a lot of things that we would normally. Sorry.
I mean, like on the roof tiles, right? There's just a few pixels here and there on the edge, but it just works out because your brain kind of makes it work because that's kind of how tiles look, right? So he's also really good at texturing stuff as well. actually kind of unfair.
Yes, actually, this guy's too good and we're upset. Screw this guy. Throw it out. It's terrible. Yeah, so he's used a lot of the things that we normally say. Don't avoid this. Because, yeah, in this case, you'll see that it can actually work. It can be used to great effect. It's just things that we'd normally tell beginners to avoid. But yeah, there we go. Can be done. Cool. Next piece, shall we?
Yes. Next piece. By Dreptile. I won't judge you for what you pick. And that's Ghost Crab? Crab Ghost?
Crab Ghost, dripping blood, seemingly.
This is Drimsley. Probably... Say hi to Drimsley.
Yeah, I probably...
I'm not sure. It looks like a game mock-up or mock-up for a mock-up.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think I would say hi to him.
I mean, there's also hi symbolized by the hand, by symbolized by the door. That's a nice touch.
Yeah. Yep, you can tell the colors light up to say these are your options. So this is nice because we actually get to comment on like decisions, like game decisions. So the text gets highlighted in an order so that you can read it, and then it shows you the high and the buy are 2 different colors, and your 2 options on it are those same colors. So it's very readable.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell exactly what's going on here. There's a ghost in the middle. He's dripping blood. There's a door behind him. You can say hi.
I'm not sure why there are blood bubbles coming out of his butt, and I can't really tell what this guy is actually supposed to be. I mean, he looks kind of cute and kind of terrifying at the same time. Maybe that's what the artist is going for. But it's...
Yeah?
I would just say it's really hard to tell what this creature is and what it's supposed to be. What it's... I don't know, maybe that's part of the design, like, because he says hi or bye. Do you find it cute? Say hi. Do you find it not cute? Say bye. I mean, it works as a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of pixel art and pixel art design, character design, I'd say it's not so readable what's happening. The hand could use some work, like individual finger length, better proportioned. Yeah, and like I said, I don't know what this creature is.
Yeah, definitely not a very inspiring design, but I think this guy has done well with his abilities, because he's he's made a very simple looking hand. You're quite right, like the fingers are the wrong length and all kinds of things. It's a very simple design. But
it's a very symbolized hand.
Yeah, very symbolized. So it's like, yeah, you can't fault them for choosing that. They didn't try to pull anything magical off here. But yeah, that's it. Obviously, this monster, I don't really know how I feel about it. But it's not inspired, and I can't really tell what it's doing or what it wants from me. Hey, there's a smooth animation of whatever it's trying to do.
Maybe it's a breathing animation, or maybe just trying to push out these blood bubbles.
Yeah, maybe it's trying to push out the blood bubbles. Honestly, yeah, I have no idea what's going on. But I'm glad that he tried. Yeah, I can't really say much, unfortunately. It is. I mean, it's. I think this guy probably knew that.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of context missing to give some more critique on this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move on then.
The Sword of Swords by Angry Snail.
Sword of Swords. I like this.
This is like actually a gun quite cool.
Guns. Where did I save the other one to? Damn.
Which one now?
I saved a different image, and I'm actually wondering where I saved it. I just need to make sure that I don't accidentally save these things in the wrong place. I'm bad at this game.
That's totally fine.
Okay,
nobody expects anything from us. Okay, so let's. Oh, we can zoom in a bit on this. It's nice. Okay, so there's a very low color count. 3 colors in this. This is excellent. You can see a lot that is going on. There's basically just, well, there's white color and red for highlights on certain parts of the weapons. Often it's just the hilt or the guard or the pommel, I think is what it's called in the back.
I think so.
Or a piece of string on one of the swords. That's a really nice touch. Gives them a bit of variety, which is nice. And
yeah,
the individual swords are quite interesting, I have to say. There's a lot of different swords, which is nice. There's short swords, longer swords. There's I don't know what this even is. There's a machete with a really long handle, and it looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, but it's a cool looking weapon.
Yeah, there's some broken blades, and some of them have chip damage on them, which works pretty well. Which also, please don't tell me there's mixels. I don't think so. But
no, there's no mixels. Don't worry, that's your eyes playing tricks on you.
Yeah, probably. Let's just say this.
I refuse to believe this guy's used Nixels.
Yeah, no, I think it's just the resolution of the screen, screen and zooming in and out, which is growing up with it a little bit. Yeah, I have to say I love this. This is fucking awesome. This looks really cool.
Oh yeah.
Like the shape of the sword made out of the smaller swords, also really cool. Like the pommel and the handle centerpiece, like made of little shields, really nice.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
This is great. This is really cool. He's used dithering for some of the hells, but with it's not. Yeah, it's for texture, not for change, or not just for making it's a different color, which is really impressive use. And you're right. Yeah, there's some damage to these swords, which just looks really cool. Super impressive. He's managed to pull this off with so few colors. The shield in the middle there, I can tell, has 2 scorpions on it.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Towards the center, which is really cool. And
you're right, there's 2 smaller ones to the left and right as well, right?
Actually, yeah, they probably are. Yeah.
With context of the other 2, you can make sense of it.
Makes sense. You're quite right. Yeah, there's some skulls. There's a heart on one of them with shading that covers the rest of the sword. Perfect use of this extra red, which also is a little bit desaturated and just works really well. This makes everything pop. Sometimes it's used as for a heart, or sometimes it's used as shading for a skull. Yeah.
Also, good choice to not use a pure black background, but a really muted gray.
It almost looks
purpley. Good choices overall. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this excellent. This is actually fantastical. This is amazing pixel art. From a technical level, it's just really good, and it's really interesting swords. He's managed to create such variety in such a small amount of space. Yeah, I really like this. Also, we didn't mention his name or anything, did we?
Did we not? I did.
I don't know. Angry Snail. Did you?
Okay. Oh, it wasn't Angry Snail 2. It was 2 hours ago. Okay, so it's just Angry Snail.
Just Angry Snail, not Angry Snail 2. The first comment is, "This is tight as fuck," which I believe is correct. That's the exact description of
this. This is how you should call it, tight as fuck.
Yes. Oh, and someone's mentioned this would be a great shirt design. That's quite right. This would actually.
Oh yeah, definitely. This would also be a really great poster, to be honest.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So this is an amazing piece of pixel art. This is, now that you guys know, this is how you float our boats if you are thinking about making. Well, that and obviously the pixel pieces like Noah's. These are the 2 kinds of things.
And another piece where we just were able to gush on.
Yeah, actually, all of today's pieces have just been almost all of today's pieces have just been really good. So that's cool. Well done, guys. Yeah, only 112 likes, guys. Please, can we get more people onto this to like that? He deserves all of your likes. That is an amazing piece.
Definitely. Boop. There we go.
Okay. Oh, boop. Done. At least we've added the list. Okay, the next one is actually this is pixel art texture on low poly.
By Chemot.
But yeah, Shamad, thank you. This one at least has more likes, so that's good. This is a thing that showed up probably only around 5 years ago, where people started doing pixel art textures on low poly.
No, I wouldn't say so. It's more or less a remnant of like the Quake 1 era of games.
Oh, that's true, actually. Yeah. But I think there was a resurgence of it.
A
couple
definitely.
years ago, where people started doing it again because it's.
Let's see what was there. The Strafe was a thing that made use of this. Devil Daggers, I think, is what it's called, which also is heavily inspired by the Quake 1 aesthetic. There are probably a couple others that go for this as well. Like the game Saiski is working on, Starmancer?
Yes.
Starmancer.
Yes.
Also employing this technique.
Yes. So yeah, this is a cool technique where people do things. We should be noted that the OP has not mentioned that this is their art. So there's no source though.
Yeah.
So we don't really know where it's from, unfortunately.
One thing I want to mention about this kind of technique, let's say, is that it, in my opinion, it works best at the highest resolution possible, because you're looking at pixels from different angles and different perspectives. And in order to have the pixels appear like actually sharp, you need a really high resolution and probably even some sort of super sampling going on, just to have the pixels in perspective appear crisp again or still.
Okay.
Because otherwise it will just pixelate on top of the pixelation and you will get a jumbled mess of pixels that is continuously hard to read, depending on how far you're away of the object.
Okay, cool. Yes, but it is, each of the faces does have cool pixel art on it, and I like the body models. Yeah, I like the design. Yeah, so this is almost certainly not the guy who made this, but yeah, it's great.
Are you checking his profile or what?
The comments, just reading the comments, people are like, probably not his. He also doesn't say OC. Generally, they say OC if they actually.
Yeah, although sometimes they also didn't, so I'm not sure.
Okay. But yeah, it's a cool little flat. I like this concept. I like low poly stuff. It actually also gets me hard.
I agree.
I like the colors used. I like the amount of contrast. Yeah, cool. Good job. I guess that's all.
Yeah.
Let's move on quickly. We're doing this fast now.
Oh, there's this strawberry. Absolute unit of a strawberry. It's
absolute unit
first.
Of a strawberry. This
by
person
Reddick
is claiming. Pardon?
By Reddick 8-bit.
Ah, yes, and he does claim to be the author. So let's have a look at this. I say very impressive.
This user is requesting critique. It says the auto moderator. Probably because he put CC in his title. So here's our chance.
Damn it. This means that we're actually giving you critique when you asked for it. Drats. Foiled again. So I really like the use of the white here. It looks like he's changed his style a couple of times in this image. There's different styles. I particularly like what the white does.
Yeah, the white works really well.
Yeah,
everything makes me kind of think that he used a reference for this, which not a lot of people do.
Yeah, this definitely does look like he used a reference, especially for that part, because it describes those little divots and things that are in real strawberries so well.
Yeah.
It's like almost perfect lighting. But then I don't really like how the yellow clashes with the red there in the shaded bits. That sort of less. Just the yellow and the red clashing there just make it eye burn. So I would have either changed my yellow to
the yellow color. Yeah, the yellow doesn't change hues at all when going into the non-lit areas.
Yeah, or I would have or I've changed the reds or something.
Yeah, there's also quite a lot of reds going on. Let's see, at least 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, and the differences are sometimes quite subtle, and there's no hue shifting in it other than the pink, I think.
Oh, really?
Or just very subtle hue shifting.
Yeah, I like the pink. I think I like the pink, and then once it hits the red, I start thinking it's less good. So I think maybe if it used, more desaturated colors like the pink and just carried on going there, I think that would have been good. The hair coming out the top, not the hair, the grass, the leafy stuff that comes at the top. So the planty bits. Totally different style again. I would have liked to see more of the white technique happen.
Oh, yeah.
Or techniques like that. I think that you should follow that in your next. So I don't actually I don't know how much help it would be critiquing this particular piece. This is probably a situation where critiquing the style that you've gone for, I would rather say whatever you've done here with the white bits and the pink and the yellow, that mixture over there in the top left of this picture is great. And you should aim to try and do more of whatever you did there. Like whatever was fueling you for that, try to do more of that in your next piece, because that stuff looks really cool. And I think that if you manage to get good at whatever this is, you will come up with a very cool style, very unique, cool style that you can use to make pixel art in the future. And it looks very 8-bit and gamey. Looks good.
Yeah.
The ribbon. There's some problems with perspective there. It's not quite round. It doesn't really not a round.
I just planted right on the top, on the front, so it's nicely readable, and you can do some stuff with it.
Yeah, I would rather have stuck it to maybe the top right of this this strawberry, and it's tricky to say, but you just need to work on your perspective there to get it looking like it is a circle sticking off of strawberry, and the grass stuff. Comparatively a very boring technique when you compare it to the stuff that's right next to it, because those are just large, look like round solid forms. The spikes, they look more like
the thorns, maybe.
Yeah, thorns or something, but like really weird bright green. Like maybe stick to this. I would have desaturated it a bit to match the pinks. I might even have a go at this one. I don't think that it is actually white. I think it's just really bright pink now that I look at it. I might even have a go at this to see if I can try and mimic whatever he's got on with this like really light color here. I want to see if I can replicate it for the whole image, maybe, because I think that there's a cool style hidden in this.
Yeah. Let's see. There's some things that I don't really like all that much about this, and this is a lot of repetition, especially with the little CD bits. Like this is 3 yellow pixels surrounded by 8 red or pink pixels, and sometimes it switches colors around because it's further to the side, and there's the highlights in different places and all that stuff. But generally, it's the same shape, just over and over and over and over and over again, until it gets to the point where it's just yellow lines at the very edge. What I'd like to see there is, like we said before, more of a color shift in the yellow, and also some variation in the CD bits as well, and also in the way they are highlighted, because it's just too repetitious in terms of texture. And I think it kind of detracts from the piece.
It's a tricky one. This is a tricky one.
Yeah, I mean, it is a repetitious texture, right? So it's really hard to make it not look repetitious. But I don't know. Maybe you can pull something off if you give it a shot.
Yeah, maybe. I'm gonna try regardless. So
sure.
Exciting. All I have to say. If you have anything
more. I'm fine. I said my piece.
Okay, cool. All right, let's go into the next one.
Oh, there's a fish. A fish I made.
There's a fish.
And is a guy called Lazy Bench.
Lazy Bench made a fish, an animation of a fishy. Immediate things to notice is that it's very smooth animations.
Oh yeah, there's some nice rotation going on at the top.
Yeah, it's really hard to get rotation down, so I'm very impressed with this. he's used a very simple shape of a fish, which would aid with rotating something yourself. I don't think that that's so perfect that it looks rotoscoped, so I think that he has actually put the effort in to do this by hand, or at least,
yeah, I'd say so.
You know, yeah, so I think that that's very impressive then. He's used the same splash animation for coming out and going in, which is a good good reuse of resources.
Mm-hmm.
And the seaweed is just moving along nice and slowly. This is actually a situation in which you can use sub-pixel rendering, which is a real thing that people do, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to... It's an MP4, damn it.
Yep, of course.
Oh, damn it. Please just save things with GIFs if they're GIFs. Oh, no. Is that... the gradient on the water that's entering the light, but it looks handmade, maybe?
I was about to mention that there's a lot of color gradients going on in the water.
A lot of color gradients.
I don't hate it in this particular piece, because it does work quite well.
Yeah.
The water surface is nice and chunky, and it just... I don't know, the gradient looks... let's say grainy enough to be believable, but it's still a lot of colors, and I would like to see a more chunky approach to this, maybe, especially with the light rays going into the water. I think there could be quite a few effects being made there, especially with bubbles going on and being lit by the highlight going into the water. A little bit of the light hitting the plants in some places, like highlighting them briefly. There's some stuff I'd like to see in this piece as well, to just push it a little bit more.
Yeah, that's true. And actually, now that you mention it, the whole blocky nature of this piece is actually what I really like. And the fish is actually shaded too organically then, for my liking. I would have actually liked it if he went...
Yeah, it looks very plastic.
Yeah, I would have loved it if he actually went with like a nice blocky fish. Actually, just like a big block fish that jumps out of big blocky water with big blocky animations. Like, honestly, that would have made me even happier. But yeah, I mean, I can't complain. This guy is doing something that's a little bit different. Like, he seems to have something going here with his like big blockinesses. He must just push it further. I think that's the real critique here, is this piece needs to be pushed further. Like, you're doing the right thing. Push harder. Try it more. I like it. And only 54 likes. 51. My eyesight is great.
56.
Let's get that up. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I like this piece. I would have hoped for block here. Continuing.
The next one we've already seen, at least to some degree, before. Orlando Herrera. New sprite request, new cannon. I'm not sure if we want to go over this again. There's like the cannon, and there's a cannonball. The rest we have seen and already talked about this. Not in the last episode, we actually, though, right?
Yeah, it wasn't. We actually talked about this. In episode 0 that no one got to see. Ha ha ha! You guys will never know.
Then we can actually mention it, I suppose.
Okay, cool. So we'll just say the same stuff that we did last time. Weasel, go.
Okay, so what we were talking about last time, which still stands from what I can tell, is that it's really nice that the background of this tile set is very subdued, very not desaturated. The foreground and the walkable tiles are very saturated, very clear to read. Some things we would like to have seen is that all the stuff flying around, like the bottles, the barrels, the chains, and the candles, the little skull on the shelf. It would be nice if they were being pushed to the foreground as well, and maybe even be like interactables. Like, if you walk past a bottle, it just crumbles or crashes, falls over, something like that. That would, I think, push this tile set, or this asset pack is what it is, just so much further. But overall, there's really some nice nice technique here. If you look at the wooden pieces, there's some hinting at like aged wood. There's some subtle highlights on them. It's not getting too crazy with the detailing and the texture. It's just enough to make your brain understand what it's supposed to be, and it's not overbearing. And I think he does a really good job at this.
Yes, yeah. To critique his, and also it's a very cute style.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I like his use of horizontal shading with a little bit of patchiness. Creates a cool texture, and he uses that quite a lot on his new pieces, for example.
Yeah. It also goes into a little bit of a dithering approach in places.
Yeah.
But it works because it's consistent and subtle enough, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yes, no, quite right. Yeah, he's used it as dithering on the cannonball. It's like a little bit of... It does give it some texture that doesn't really exist, but since everything's happening, it kind of gives you this feeling that the whole piece is just slightly textured.
It's a bit more rugged. Looks
everything
used.
is a bit woody or something. Yeah. I would have maybe liked a rounder cannon, but I guess his style is his style.
Yeah, it's consistent with his characters, I suppose.
Yeah. So I guess that's how he follows things. Yeah, that's a very cute little cannon shooting things there. Yeah, good. Considering how desaturated the whole piece is, he's done well to hide the background. You can tell what's foreground, what's background. I can tell that I can jump on those shelves. Those are definitely jump onable. Like, I can tell what I can interact with and not. And from that, it's just, that's what you need in a game, really, in a tile set or in an asset pack.
Yeah.
Yep. So I like this consistent, cute, unique style. And very readable.
Yeah. And he seems to be working on it for quite some time as well. When did we see it first? I think 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks ago it would have been.
Yep. And he's probably working on it for quite some time longer then.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm sure that he's been working hard on this little asset pack.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, you can go to the site and see a bunch of cute little animations. Ooh! Oh my word, have you been... It's go to his website. That itch.
Oh yeah.
Itch link at the bottom.
There's actually some mock-ups.
This is
excellent.
This is great. Oh yes. Oh yes. You can actually blow everything up. In this case, I kind of wish he made the bottles and stuff stick out slightly more because they don't look like they're that interactable.
I'm a bit torn because if you look at the table on the right animation, he jumps down on it, but he doesn't land on it. So highlighting that one doesn't make sense. So in this case, I think he's at least consistent with that.
Yeah, it's true. It is consistent.
So it's just
that's actually really cool.
That move around a little bit, but aren't
actually wiggle. His chains wiggle and his things blow up and people get knocked over. This is great. This is a great asset pack. It looks so much fun just looking at this. Oh wow, look at the animations. Oh, he's got light. So he's used a couple of transparent layers on the top, which for those lighting, which is obviously not pure pixel art, but it's cool. We accept things like this these days. It's pixel art.
I mean, people did this in the Super Nintendo era, so whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They were totally doing it already. But he's used it's pixel art that is just laid on top of other pixel art at different capacities. So it's really cool. Yeah, cute characters, little guys are running around, cute little bombs. I like this.
Definitely.
Cool. This hard.
Okay, this hard.
Okay, this hard. Right. There we go. Now we've advertised a bit for this guy. Hopefully that brings you in a couple more buyers, hey?
Yeah, let's throw the link into the chat as well if people are interested.
We must remember, have you got all these links saved somewhere so that we can post them?
They're in the chat.
They're in the chat.
They're in the chat.
Post them in the description later.
I will do it.
Okay. The turtle thing.
Guy Turtle.
Guy Turtle.
By Virus Apocalypse.
Yes. Okay.
Shit. There we go.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to zoom in on the piece.
Okay.
So
this. Okay, success. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and say this is boxy art.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is blocky art. Blocky art? Boxy art?
Yeah, boxy
yeah,
sounds fine.
It's just boxy, yeah. Boxy art. Yeah, these use pixels for their aesthetic in this particular instance. There's like I think the text is about the only thing that follows any kind of pixel technique. Everything else.
Yeah. I mean, in this case, it's really hard to give any sort of critique on the actual pixel art, and I would say,
yeah, exactly.
Look more at a turtle and how it's shaped, how the head is shaped, how the eyes are shaped, how the proportions work, how the shell works. This would probably be my biggest critique. I mean, there's a lot of stuff with the rendering that's also not really all that great. But I think overall, the biggest problem is that the turtle doesn't look
like a turtle,
like a cool freaking turtle, but I don't know, like a goopy salad in a bowl.
Yes, he's a goopy salad in a bowl. Yeah, I would say there's a non-consistent use of light. This is a massive problem that a lot of people fall into, even people who are fairly far ahead in pixel art, where they light every single surface as though it were like in a vacuum and there weren't other surfaces around it. So like every single piece of surface has the same brightest color on it. Every single green has the same brightest color on it.
Yeah.
The colors that are closest to us should still have the most light in it. Also, the light is hitting the turtle's hands from the right, but it's hitting his head and the trees from the top. So there's inconsistent lighting source. Everything is being lit the same. You'd be amazed at how much difference just changing the lighting for that would have on this piece.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just having that I don't even know what you call it. Relative lighting, the opposite of relative lighting.
Absolutely.
Heuristic lighting. Heuristic lighting.
Is that a thing?
It's like, I don't know. I'm making up words right now.
That's great.
That's great. I don't know if anyone's actually named it yet, but it's definitely a problem a lot of people have. So I'm sure someone's named it before. But for now, I'll call it heuristic lighting. It's more important. The background also, mountains suffer from the same thing, but they're mountains, so you can get away with that kind of thing.
I will say though that the mountains in the background and the sky on its own actually doesn't look too bad.
Yeah.
Until the maybe top third of the cloud layer, but up until that point, there's a nice gradient in the clouds from the sunlight that looks pretty good. There's some weird shapes going on that don't really look like clouds, but generally, I would say this is a good backdrop generally. But it tapers off in the top, and I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's I think the main problem here is light source. I think if he works on light to properly describe his forms better, he would have a better turtle. The actual design, you're right, kind of just looks like salad, so it's hard to really say what's going on with his face. It's quite a large area and very little texture compared to like on his back there are trees and stuff. His face is very little.
I mean, you could also probably water the resolution of this.
Yeah.
Just scale it down. You don't really miss any details at all in this piece. Yeah. And you would have a far better time working with it. Would work much quicker. Easier.
Much quicker to make it. So
that's a suggestion I would put out. Don't use canvases of this size if you're not really sure what you're doing. If you're just experimenting, it's a massive waste of time, basically.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I would just say value. It's just he needs to do some value studies just to understand how value works and how you can use light to shape forms better. I think that's one of his biggest artistic struggles right now. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure if you keep it up, you'll get good.
The design idea is cool. That one I do like. like a flying turtle with the forest on its back. It's very
with the forest, yeah.
mythical.
Cool.
That's nice.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's move on then. I'm happy.
All right.
This thing's cute. Shall we just do 2 or 3 more?
Sounds good. Okay, this is Melancholy Windows by Ellie Frogman.
Yep, says OC, so they are claiming to this. It has some text that says, "Why are you feeling this way?" Which is...
It is kind of melancholy. I mean, with the title, it definitely feels more melancholy than it maybe would be. But the piece itself is hinting at quite a bit of melancholy as well. Just seeing the outline behind the window looks kind of lonely, staring onto the freaking city reflection in the window. That's adorable. That looks great.
Yeah, no, that's adorable. And you can see there's some texture there, what's going on.
Yeah.
Some good... he's done some interesting perspective with the windows. You can see there are 3 of them. They are identical copies of one another, and yet it still looks like they're coming out to us. So this is actually... The projection is orthographic, and yet made a difference in how close stuff is to us. Still look kind of 3D. So that's impressive. And yeah, I don't see any problems with pixel technique. This is definitely a piece of art, so we don't have to worry too much about things like there's not enough contrast to see what's going on, because it's meant to be a bit mystical. So
it's and to be
intentionally hiding things.
Yeah.
It's
still good color choices overall. I mean, the reflections pop really nice. Gives some nice contrast with the otherwise moody scene, which is nice.
That does. Yeah, no, it's very impressive. I guess this is also boxy art. And yeah, I think they've done really well to use the pixel aesthetic. In fact, this piece gives the illusion of having more pixels than it actually does in some cases, because I think specifically that cityscape, you would imagine big blocky windows. So I think this is a piece that is actually helped by using pixel art. That's quite impressive. I'm impressed by this piece, even though it's so simple. There's nice. A lot in it, a lot extra in it. Yeah, good use of consistent lighting source and all that. No, just...
Are you realizing that our voices are getting quite a bit more melancholic while looking at this piece?
Yep, stop making me sad.
Yeah,
the next piece is exciting. Don't worry, we're getting...
Okay, I'm hyped. I'm hyped. But yeah, I like this piece. This is really great.
Yeah, that is. It is a great piece. Good job. Cool.
Okay, let's look at the next piece then. A low poly Game Boy with pixel art texture by Doomcube Art.
Yeah, cool.
61 polygons, 128 by 128 texture. I've seen this before, I think. Oh yeah, this is very low poly, definitely.
Yeah, it's very low poly, and
I was about to complain that the cartridge could have been like inset a little bit, but
yeah, I mean, come on, let's inset the cartridge a bit. Oh my word, weakest sources. 61 polygons, which I assume is a little, and you can see made the buttons 3D. And yeah, it's very cute.
Oh yeah, the buttons are actually extruded. I didn't realize. I was wondering where the 61 polygons would be.
So each of these pieces of pixel art individually is kind of cool, since you can actually see all of them in their picture at the bottom right at 1x zoom, I believe. He's done very well here. He's used... See, here, this person has used anti-aliasing on the light on the front left there of the screen, which makes it look blurry, but intentionally it is supposed to be lighter in the middle and then go off slowly.
Yeah.
So the anti-aliasing in this case is used for exactly what anti-aliasing does well. It makes light look like it's diffusing over time. So that's
over
a really
distance.
cool use. Yeah, over distance. Woohoo, magic. Thank you. Time, distance, same thing. Yeah,
almost.
So that's an excellent use of anti-aliasing. For example, if people are looking for good uses for anti-aliasing. Yeah, each face seems to have good pixel art.
I mean, I wish I could look at the animated scene a little bit more, but it looks like it's actually a drastically scaled down version of Mario Land.
Yeah, I think that's just, I think it's put on a random thing there, or maybe not. Yeah, it looks generated. Because that piece of pixel art would look great. Yeah.
Oh, but this is a nice piece.
It's a nice piece. Cool. It's a cool little low poly thing. Interestingly, the texture seems to have a different pattern for the speaker than the actual model, which lacks a few of the circles that are shown on the 3D texture at the bottom. So I don't know if maybe he updated that since, or changed it slightly before he put it on the 3D model, but it does look
could be possible.
So that's okay. I don't really have much more to say.
No, me neither.
No.
It's a cool piece. Yep.
I actually just I scrolled a few ahead just to pick, because I wanted to pick pieces that I can actually make edits of. There is a picture of a snake chick a few pixels down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this one. So this one, I don't know if you feel like scrolling down to pick a picture that you feel like editing.
Sure, we can go through this one if you want to say something about this real quick.
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
Cool. So this one, I like the pink. There's some proportion problems, human being proportion problems, and snake proportion problems, and the lighting source is all over the place. And I think that I don't know, I like little snake girls, so I like it. It appeals to me on that level, but it requires a lot of work to get to get somewhere where her forms and her proportions are done.
Are you saying you're gonna oblige into edit wankery with this one?
This is going to be edit wankery if I'm 100%. I'm probably going to edit wank on this particular piece just because I'm gonna I'll try and maintain like as much of the current piece as I can.
I mean, the pose is pretty clear, right? And that
exactly.
Does work like pretty well.
There is something about it that's cool. But then just show, mostly moving things around to get proportions right, and then just changing light source. I think that'll be enough to demonstrate some things. Like the belt looks kind of cool. Individual parts look cool, but need to be scaled the right size, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's all I want to say. You may go pick a piece.
Let's see. Oh, wow, these.
Yeah.
3 little characters.
Those are the new gen of Pokemon.
These look cool.
Those do look cool. Shall we comment on that?
I mean, there's not a lot I can say about this other than, well, they look freaking good. For the resolution they are in, it's nice perspective going on, nice poses, interesting poses. Interesting double outline approach as well. I'm not sure if Pokemon does this anywhere else.
I don't know.
I've seen this occasionally, but for some pieces it really seems to work, and especially with this background, makes them kind of pop. I think it's cute. Works really well.
Yeah, it is something that makes things pop. I think there's a lot of banding going on, which will happen when you have double outlines a lot.
Oh yeah,
natural banding just occurs, so it's something you need to be wary of. I think in this case, I would normally choose. I wouldn't actually put that much shading on the characters inside. I'd keep them quite flat and give them larger, simpler shapes, and then rely on changing the areas to be dark. I don't actually know how to describe this, honestly. But yeah, it would be, I would simplify the pixel art inside the outlines to make them pop even more. It's like keep the simplicity vibe going and just rely on the dynamic poses to push this piece where it needs to go. Actually, I might just edit this rather. We'll see. I'll go through all these during the week and we'll see.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. An environmental piece. It looks nice. There's a cat.
Yeah. Something else. This is some other thing.
There's. Oh god, another creature with wings.
Oh, do it.
Is this
yes.
supposed to be it?
Yes. Please do an edit of the thing with wings.
Interesting. This looks kind of similar to a piece I did before. Wow, this is quite a nice animation, to be honest.
Oh, hey, cool. That die is cool. I think you should edit this and do wings. I think that's what you should do. I like you, I swear. I'm saying this as a person who likes you.
If I can get a GIF from that, I'll try.
MP12 or whatever it is. Damn it.
MP25.
Yeah, if you can, if it's easy to get I think you should be able to, given what it's like, I think you should be able to import that hopefully into something. Pretty easily. I
don't know, otherwise nothing really sticks out. Oh yeah, the bird, but that's, again, it's a freaking MP4.
Is it also an MP4?
Yeah, I think all the pieces on Reddit are being converted to MP4. Not sure if you can grab the original somewhere.
Possible to.
I'll ask Annie. Maybe he knows.
Yeah, I'm sure we have people who have technology. Okay, well, I think that's enough.
This is a great piece. This looks actually like something I could pick up, because this kind of hits some of my buttons. I like weird, disgusting stuff.
No surprises there.
Well, what can I say? Yeah, there's cool design, definitely. There's some weird stuff happening with shading and form altogether, so maybe I'll take a look at that and see what we can do.
Okay, cool. Good. Yeah, I think you can. This piece definitely has room for improvement, but it is also cool looking. It's a good combination of things that you need. Okay, good.
Yes,
good. I'm glad. Okay, we'll have a look at these pieces next week then, because I also like the editing section. I do like making edits and then actually putting my money where my mouth is and actually showing things so that people can see practical examples.
Right, and actually maybe get people to learn something more other than just being shouted at.
Other than just saying, this is bad, you should do better.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Cool. Well, I guess that is it for today.
It is.
I think. Yes. Cool.
Yeah, it was a good episode. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you did as well. For some reason, the chat died down in the second half, which is kind of a shame, but what can you do about that?
But hey, people clearly care more about the edit section, so, we'll just have to elongate that.
Good hints. We're taking that in.
Where are we going to get more edits if we don't look through the rest, though, guys?
That's
anyway,
true.
I think we did well. It'll look cool. I think I'm looking forward to working on some of these, and I think we looked at a lot of good art this week.
Yeah,
actually,
the quality was
pretty impressive.
Pretty outstanding, to be honest. Was unexpectedly so.
Yeah, it was good quality. Yeah, cool.
More praise than critique, to be honest.
We did more praise than critique.
Maybe next week let's go to the new section and not the hot section. Let's see. Or we jump back and forth, maybe. We'll see.
Oh my god, I'm to die.
Okay, with this, we're cutting off. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you presumably next week, if Envy doesn't die. Have a good night.
Sorry, I'm just dying. Thank you very much. Good night.